Hi, hello, welcome back, welcome in. Today we're making a little tiny owl. I use him primarily as a keychain, but he's just a good little basic bean style pattern. To make this wonderful little guy, you'll need eyeballs. These are 12 millimeters, but it's an owl. Go bigger. Give him big eyes. Give him tiny little beady eyes. You will also need, obviously, the yarn that you're using, needle for sewing, stitch marker, scissors. For this one, I'm using a 4 millimeter hook because my yarn is slightly thicker than worsted weight, and puff paint or another material to use for his beak. So let's get started. So round one, you can start with a magic circle and 6 single crochet. Five and 6, and then for round 2 we're going to increase in every stitch around. For an end row count of 12. And as a reminder, you can find this as a written pattern for free at mudsyarn.com under free patterns, as well as many others. Round 3, it's going to be a single crochet and then increase. Repeat it around. That'll give you an end row count of 18. There we go. And then for round 4, we're going to single crochet twice and then increase. Again, repeating that segment 6 times. End row count will be 24. And then for rounds 5 through 9, we're just going to single crochet around. So this is effectively going to be the bottom or the butt of our little owl. And now we are going to work up and make his sides. And for round 10, we're going to single crochet 4 and then decrease. And that we will do 4 times, and the end row count will be 20. So 1, 2, and for round 11, we're going to single crochet 3 and decrease. And again, we're going to do that 4 times. Our end row count will be 16. Now, pull up a loop so we can insert the safety eyes. They'll go between rounds 9 and 10 about 4 stitches apart. These ones are 12 millimeters. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Obviously, since you're doing an owl, I'd recommend big eyes. But I have these that are the last of this set that I'd like to use. Fun fact, this is a Papermate Inkjoy gel pen, minus the pen. It's just a tube now, but it works great for helping put the backs on these domed safety eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit farther is too far. You'll end up squishing him flat a little bit because we're going to sew across the top to close. So you can squish and see how far apart your eyes are to get them closer to where you want. And these are the eyes that look, they have a little bit of a angle to them. Woo! Careful doing it on a smooth surface. Oh, I buggered his eye. My desk has a texture on it. I don't know if you can see. There's now a little flat spot. Oh well, that just makes him more unique. So maybe put a towel under your... if you're using the pen technique. And now that we've got those, we are going to single crochet both sides together. Now, obviously I put my eyes in a spot where the end of the round is between them in the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to single crochet to this one. So that's what, 4? 3? 1, 2, 3, yeah. So I'm going to single crochet 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, so that I'm at the edge. And then I'm going to stick my hook in the front, what would be the next loop, and the one I just created. Just like that. And continuing that kind of pattern, sewing the top together. Now I'm going to stop about halfway, so I got a little bit of a pocket still and stuff. You can do this before you start sewing across the top if that's easier for you. I just want him to be very sturdy, so by having more of it done, it's easier to stuffed. It's easier to keep the stuffing down while we finish going across the top. Okay, and then for round 13, we're going to turn, chain 1, and then double crochet and half double crochet in the same stitch, and then single crochet 6, 1, 2, 5, and 6, and then we're going to, in that last stitch, half double crochet, double crochet, chain 1, and then slip stitch back in that same stitch. And then to finish off, I like to chain 2, cut the yarn with a little bit to sew it, and that's how he gets his little owl ear points. And I'm just going to take this and kind of wiggle it through the previous stitch for that first 2, and then into the main body. Like that, and I'm just going to cut off this extra. So there's our little owl body. Next, we're going to do the wings. So you're going to make 2 of these. We're going to start with a magic circle and single crochet 6 inside. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we are going to do a second round of increase in every stitch. And 12. And then we are going to fold it in half and single crochet both sides together, similar to how we did the top of the owl head. In the next one, in the one we just did, cut that little bit of extra off. And this you will not be stuffing. You can cut off with a long enough tail to sew it. Make sure to routinely punch your desk. So we are going to make it, you could put his wings inward or outward, whichever you kind of prefer. I like them inward. I don't know, gives it more of a bird look, at least on this guy. I don't know. But then you're going to sew it kind of parallel to the top of his ear. You could leave him saying hello if you wanted. There's no real method to this part. I tend to do about a stitch in the front, a stitch toward the back, and then one kind of more in the middle-y. Because I like that little bit of motion, but I do want it to stay secure. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this through the back, make and sew the other wing on, tie them together. So I'll be right back as I finish this up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the end of this wing that I'm sewing on comes out the same, between the same stitches as the previous one here. Then I'm going to pull them as tight as I can. Knot them together. Now this doesn't work with every yarn and every stitches, but it's a nice lazy way to make sure the wings don't come undone. Then I'm going to restring them and back through that same stitch out somewhere else. And then I'm going to pull so that knot just goes boop, right back in the bird. Okay, and to finish up, he needs a beak. You could get a little felt triangle. You could crochet a triangle. I like to use puff paint. Let me shake this one, it's a little old. And we'll just this one might be a little older than I thought. Hold on. There we go. It was first spitting out clear. Anyway, we're going to start by putting if you're using puff paint, one of the things I recommend, it's not going to show up on camera, is it? Not at all. Yarn is innately fuzzy. You have to know what material the yarn is. I don't recommend this if you've never done this before. But if you're using puff paint, one of the things you can do is if you know it's acrylic, you can take a little lighter and then just toast the front a little bit. And that will burn away all the little fuzzies. It doesn't really look any different, but now you have a smooth surface, smooth as much as yarn can get, but you have a surface where there's no little wispies. And then we're going to put a dot where we want all 3 points. And about right there. And then we are going to connect said points. Bloop. Bloop. Fill them in. And there we go. We're going to set them in a place where you won't get bumped to dry. But that's our cute little owlie. This gray yarn turned out to be a perfect way to make the owl. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you make all of the owls. Feel free to experiment. Obviously in that last row, you could do some different stuff to get different sized little horns, or if you want no horns, omit the last round altogether, I suppose. Bigger wings, you could even do a little, I think for this size of guy, do Magic Circle 6 and give him a little belly patch if you wanted. Maybe give him some feet. I put mine on a keychain. But either way, have fun. And I'll see you for the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, do all the things. But have a good day overall. Thanks for watching. Bye!